We began this hour with breaking news. Montreal has been rocked by student protests. Riot police have been issuing multiple arrests using stun grenades, pepper spray, and batons to beat back student protesters during a rally against tuition hikes. This happened after they tried to disrupt a speech by Quebec Premier Jean Charest. The story is changing by the minute. I'm joined by Bernard Dessonnier. He's a citizen journalist in Quebec. Bernard, what is going on there on the ground?
Well, what is going on is that the students, and not only the students, but many citizens are mad at the attitude of the government, who doesn't want to discuss at all about the raise of student fees, which was decided, actually, according to the Prime Minister, a year ago. And they don't want to accept this because they feel that it will prevent a lot of deserving students to attend university and to eventually get a degree and find a good job. And today, the Prime Minister said, with a laugh, he scorned the students. He said that he wants to give them a job as far north as possible. So that infuriated a lot of people, and there were violent clashes between the police and the protesters in the streets and also in the conference center. And this happened also, today is not the first day that clashes happened. Yesterday and the day before yesterday, massive arrests. Hundreds of people were arrested, given huge fines, $400 fines for just walking in the street in a residential area, chanting and singing, and they were just cornered by the police. And the same thing happened yesterday in a university near where I live. So it's very, very repressive. The climate is degrading by the hour right now. A lot of people, public figures, politicians, showed their disapproval publicly today about the Prime Minister's words.
Bernard, tell us a little more about the arrests that have taken place over the last couple of days, today, and also some of the police brutality that you've seen firsthand and that you've heard about.
Well, personally, I wasn't on site to see the brutality because I unfortunately have to work during the day, but I was able to go to the police station after the protesters were arrested yesterday. 150 people were arrested near where I live, and they were detained for several hours. Some of them actually are probably still detained as we're speaking, so that's more than 24 hours. They were handcuffed, they were detained, they were submitted to interrogations, they were threatened. They were told by one of the protesters that I was able to talk to yesterday at the police station said that the police told him that his diploma would be worth nothing because he'd have a criminal record from now on. And those are people who were just sitting, when they were arrested, they were just sitting in the university's cafeteria, and they were actually encouraged to come into the university building by the police. And once they were inside, the police locked the door, arrested them all, including some minors, and they were, as I said, handcuffed, taken to the police station, and detained for several hours. And so, I mean, and I have friends, I have the people that I know that had their children under 18 arrested yesterday, and that were sort of treated that way. And so, and the day before, there was also near where I live, which is a small city of maybe 300,000 people. There were 150 people arrested on the street also, and they were basically peaceful. So today what happens is a consequence of that. Protesters have been peaceful, and now they're fed up with the attitude of the government, and they're fed up with being harassed by the police and being repressed, and they cannot walk on the street, they cannot say anything. They're being, I would add that today rubber bullets were also used against the protesters.
Bernard, it sounds very similar to what's happening right here close to us in New York City with Occupy Wall Street, where the NYPD is interpreting new laws day by day. If people get mic checked, then they're arrested. It almost seems like the freedom of speech is null and void at this point, and laws are interpreted randomly. Can you take us back really quickly to wrap up this segment and just give us a brief background of how this happened and where do you see this going?
Well, it happened because of the increase in tuition fees. And that's something that the people in Quebec consider as fundamental. They think, and a lot of people in the population think that whoever wants to get a university degree should be able to and shouldn't be prevented because of money. And actually, when you look at it from an economy standpoint, it pays for society to have more university graduates. Those people, once they are a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, they earn more money, they pay more taxes. So it pays for itself. And that's the basic, that's how it started. And that started about 2 months ago, 10 weeks ago. There were peaceful protests. There were 200,000 people marching in downtown Montreal peacefully. Nothing happened. Nothing was broken. But then the police recently, there was an injunction, and they wanted to force the universities to teach to students who wanted to take their courses. And of course, that's...
Bernard, we're unfortunately out of time. The situation is definitely very tense, and we'll be following it very closely as the situation unfolds. That was citizen journalist Bernard Dessonnier.